Welcome back to Talking Hip Hop. I'm your host, JustKeekz, and today's guest is Spitty.
Everybody say get job, get grist out down. That's not for me. I went my way. I took that lead, stood on that desk, burnt that degree. I'll do for the facts, for the checks, for the chains, for the not me. I get that for free. You know we up big now. You know we run things now. I was 16, big dreams. We would hit McD's. They deep in the Odyssey. Way before the death and the stress and the loss and depression. That's the anal. Maybe I'ma make it honestly.
Spitty is an Indian rap artist and inaugural Brampton Ambassador. He is an emerging young talent with a cultivating and distinctive sound. His debut album entitled Full Circle moved many across the world. He has been widely recognized by media publications like Complex Canada, Rolling Stone India, Much Music, and ET. Earlier last year, he went on tour and also opened up for Kardinal Offishall. He has performed at Canadian Music Week, Desi Fest, and Launch Music Festival. Please welcome to the show, Spitty.
Hey, appreciate you. Dope intro.
Thank you.
Much love.
How's it going? Thank you for coming through to the show.
Yeah, it's going blessed. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, the sun's shining today in the winter. You know, can't complain in Canada. When you get like 11 degrees in November, it's a good day.
I know, for real. So the first thing I wanted to ask you is, you know I have to, with a name like Spitty, where did it come from?
That's it. I get a lot of questions about this, and like, I feel like the Joker. Like every time my origin story changes, you want to know how I got this name? But where it really comes from, I started rapping in high school, right? And like back then, I feel like I didn't have the money to like look the part of a rapper. I just looked like a regular kid. And like, especially in Brampton, like every high school had somebody trying to do something. Like there was someone trying to be a rapper, someone trying to be a YouTuber, someone trying to be a dancer, someone trying to be a DJ. So it was like, everyone was trying to be something, and like I wanted people to know like, oh, this guy's trying to be something. Like, what's he trying to be? Like, I wanted the name to really represent what I was trying to do, and that was just rap. Like, it was like when I started, it was just rap. So for me, Spitty was like, yo, he spits bars, he spits fire, and then on top of that, like a lot of the rappers that I grew up on, like Biggie, Drizzy, Wheezy, Yeezy, like those are all kind of nicknames, but like they end in that way, right? So
Like
it's like Spitty, like the E. So I was like, yo, Biggie, Drizzy, Spitty, just added on, you know? So 50. So like a lot of my favorite rappers kind of had that name. So that's where the Spitty like part came of it, but the spit part was just like it's like I just want to rap. But now like over time I've kind of developed a different meaning, and that's if you ever take like you ever heard of a 23andMe, like that ancestry test?
Oh yeah.
Where like they test your DNA. So like I never done it, but to do it, you put like your spit into a vial and you mail that in because your DNA is just in your spit. Wow. So I was like, my name's Spitty. It's because like hip hop music, it's in my DNA, you know?
Okay. You know what? When I first saw your name, I thought it might have been like you're like one of the freshest MCs that know how to spit. And then you said Spitty, but the meaning behind it is much deeper. Interesting.
It evolves too. I feel like sometimes you get something like a name or like a tattoo or whatever, and then like the meaning like develops too. You know?
You mentioned that in high school when you first started rap, like you felt like you didn't look like a rapper. And walk me through your rap career or rap journey so far.
For sure. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Like I would say when I was rapping, like there definitely wasn't like brown people rapping. There was less people from the suburbs popping off. Like gangster rap, drill was still the main thing, you know? Like in Brampton, rap was like our thing, especially because all of us are like immigrants. Like we're coming from India, we're coming from the Caribbean, we're coming from like Philippines, everywhere, right? And like claiming like your Indian heritage and that kind of stuff was like considered like fobby or like corny, you know? Like it was like you'd get looked down upon by the people who were here first, like like say a brown person was born here and then you came when you were in like 5th grade. You get like you get bullied not by like the white people or the black people, but by like brown people.
Wow.
Yeah, because like it was like this like you almost hate the people that are like similar to you but different, you know? Instead of being like really different, because they're like so different like they don't even care. So that's kind of how it was. So like for me, like I didn't really connect with the Indian culture when I was young, but hip hop was like that counterculture. It was like, it wasn't the mainstream back then. It was still like our parents didn't want us listening to it. All they heard was a swear word, so they didn't really understand English. So they were like, what is this music, you know? But like for us, like it was like the energy, you know? Like you could really relate to it. And there's different levels to it. There's like the party rap, like the 50 Cents and like the Drakes of the world. But then there's like the deep rap, like the Nas and the Kendrick Lamar. And when I was young, like I got put onto both. Like I literally remember BET came on. They had like the music video countdowns, and I saw like In the Club by 50 Cent, big party track, like hype. And then this song by Nas called like I Know I Can, which is like the chorus is sung by kids, you know. And I was like literally the age of the kids when I heard it, so I was like, it felt like he was talking to me, you know? So it's like, I know I can't be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be.
I was a kid when that song came out too,
way.
so I would sing that one part of
and
the
then
song.
it's like, yo, that's real inspiration. Like that, like really like motivated me. Like, as a kid, you probably think you can do whatever you want to do, but hearing someone who's like really made it from somewhere, like where you're not supposed to make it, and then like saying that, like, yo, like y'all kings and queens, like that's some real stuff. So it was that balance. It's like, yo, music's fun, it's good energy, it brings people together to party, and it can like inspire you when you're in your head or like you're trying to go through it, you know?
So were you born in India and then came here later on?
I was actually born in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was born in Florida. So it's like a little weird immigrant story, whereas like I didn't fully connect to like the local scene just because I'd moved in, but it wasn't like I came from India. I just came from a different place, you know?
Right, okay.
Like Florida. And so like a lot of people in Brampton, there's like a kind of like a Brampton accent. I feel like I don't fully have it because like I grew up around like a lot of different people, you know, coming from Florida and then like with my family and then the people I grew up in Brampton. So it's kind of just like I was doing a lot of like, what's it called? Like code switching, you know, like like talking different ways depending on what group I'm in. So but Florida, I was really just a baby, so I pretty much grew up in Brampton.
Okay.
And that's where I'd really call home, you know?
Right. And like you know, with you being a South Asian rapper, as you mentioned, you don't really see it. It's not as common. Of course, there are those that exist, like yourself. So what adversities had you had to face or encounter as a South Asian rapper coming up in Brampton?
Yeah, that's another interesting thing is the fact that like in Brampton, growing up, I never even thought about the fact that like I'm a brown guy trying to rap because in Brampton it was so common, like nobody made it yet, but every street, every school had people trying to be somebody, you know? And like because we were all just like immigrants or like sons of immigrants or like minorities or whatever, like I just grew up in it that I never even considered myself like an outsider until like later, until I became more like self-aware and realized like, yo, yeah, there really isn't like brown people that popped off. Like I fully obviously knew it, but like when I was just rapping, I just wanted to rap, you know? I wasn't considering like I gotta rep for my people. I wasn't considering like I gotta mix Indian stuff into it, but then that stuff slowly came over time, just like as I grew as an individual and as I grew as a rapper. So for me now, it's a big part of my music, like incorporating the South Asian culture, like my heritage. I guess for me, I'm just kind of part of that wave that's trying to push it forward, you know?
Yeah, exactly. For a while, you weren't doing music, and then you returned back to music. Talk about what brought you back.
Yeah, I think I want to say that I was always doing music, but like sometimes, and like I feel like a lot of artists can probably relate, is that we always think we're creating or we're working on stuff, but it's not being shown to the public. Like nothing's being released. People aren't seeing the behind the scenes work. So then like on the surface level, it looks like they're not in it anymore, you know? You see an artist post a song and then they just go ghost for 6 months. Maybe they're doing stuff behind the scenes, but like it's not always clear, you know? And so for me, while I was in uni, I kind of lost track of that. I lost that like focus of like, oh, everything I'm doing, like people aren't seeing it, you know? So like, so when my uploads slowed down, it kind of felt like, oh yeah, I was like taking a break, you know? But the reality was, like in my head, I thought I was always like really going for music. I just had to do this like sort of like perspective shift and be like, yo, after 5 years, like why am I like why do I actually have less fans than when I started, you know? Like how did that even make sense? Because like when you start in high school, the good thing is like you're around so many people, it's easy to get people to listen to it because you're in class with all these people. Like
you
music,
just play it.
Everything spreads really fast because you're seeing people every day, right? Once you're out of that, like if you're in the workforce or like uni and stuff, you're not necessarily hanging around people. You're not necessarily talking to them in those ways, you know? And so like, I guess my friend circle kind of shrunk, and then my music like listening base kind of shrunk because I wasn't really like reaching past like my inner circle, you know? And so it took a while of like, yo, like what's holding me back? And like after I got a 9-to-5 job in IT, it was like 9 to 5, and then once I was done, it was like I was clocked out, you know? And that's the perfect thing because it was like I was making a salary. Like in Brampton, we have a recording studio in one of our libraries, or we did before the pandemic. So like I would finish my work at 4:35, and I would drive straight to the library, and you could book it for like 3-hour slots. So I would do like a 5 to 8 or like a 5:30 to 8:30. The library closes at 9. I would go home, eat, you know, do some more work, writing or like posting and stuff, and then sleep and just rinse and repeat the process for like a few years, and then. That's kind of how like my grind developed, and in that time is really where I got the reps in, you know, like develop myself, practice at the library, recording, putting in the work, and so the music kind of slowed down for a bit, like, you know, between like 2017 to like 18, 19, and then slowly it picked up to the point where 2020 was like back when it was up. Like I dropped a song a month, and then I really had the momentum going for me.
Yeah. What was the thought process like? What was going on in your mind when you decided, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to start taking this way more seriously now?
There's a lot of different factors that played in. You know, the biggest one is, like you said, I've been making music for 11 years, right? And last year was the 10 years. So it was 10 years. It felt like a big thing, like, 10 years. And like, I'm still not where I want to be. Like the progress was crazy, especially like 2021, like when my Full Circle album dropped, 2022, like I was seeing everything happening, but like streams don't make that much money. Like until you're getting like bigger performances or like brand sponsorships, like that money's not coming in as a rapper. And so like, I was like, all this stuff's cool, but like I really need to like show myself that I can do it. Like prove to myself that like, if I had the 100% time and energy to dedicate to music, like what could I really make of it? Because you never really know until you do it, right? Like I was doing, like I said, I was doing kind of like two jobs, like 8 hours at the work, 8 hours of IT, and then 8 hours of music, and then 8 hours of sleep, But like, if you take that 8 hours of work and you put into music, like how could I double my output, And in reality, I like triple, quadrupled it because like, not only did I have that double amount of time, the energy that was going into my work was now like not being drained. So like everything was being more creative. Like I would wake up and I would be thinking about music instead of thinking about like logging into my work or whatever, like because like work's like that too. You start right in the morning, so it's like all this stuff is like right there. Like
and then you do it for 8 hours.
You do it for 8 hours, and then when you're done, it's like okay, now what, right? So it's like my whole schedule changed up, and the key thing was actually when I was in university. Like in my 4th year or something, I was like, I still didn't blow up. Like back then I thought like, it's a young man's game. Like I thought like if I didn't blow up by 23, like, it's done, like rap's over, And I told myself when I turned 27, if I didn't make it yet, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna go all in for 1 year. So I told myself that like 6 years before it happened.
So did that change happen when you were 27? Like, did you follow through with the commitment?
Yeah,
you made?
exactly.
Oh, wow.
So I did. I actually quit 3 months early because my birthday is at the end of the summer, and I wanted the whole summer because that's like the best time to like be out and about. So I quit like right at the end of May 27th. I'll never forget.
Yeah.
At the end of 2021, when my album dropped, I went in my car and it was still work from home times, right? Like because of the pandemic. I drove through America. Like I went from Toronto to Boston to New York to Philly, Baltimore, Charlotte, Orlando, all the way to Miami. In 2021, when the pandemic was kind of easing up, me and my boy were like, let's go to Miami for New Year's, like let's party there. And then I was like I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna go for 2 weeks. I'm gonna drive there and like make it a double trip because like that's gonna be the reward at the end is the New Year celebration. But I'm gonna drive there and go to different cities and meet people and do shows and like all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And so it was kind of just like. It was loose. Like all I had planned was like, by December 30th, I got to be in Miami. And I left on like the 14th and I had to like just make up a route. And I was just like, look for shows or opportunities. And I'd go to that city when they had a show. I'd go to Baltimore when there was a show there.
Okay.
And I like open mic, showcase, anything I could join, just as like a nobody, like an up and coming artist. And then I went to Miami, stayed there for 2 weeks. And then I came back another 2 weeks, like a different route, Atlanta, Nashville, Indianapolis. But the whole time I would like work. So I'd work during the day and then I would do a show or travel at night. And that was like the journey for pretty much the whole 6 weeks. And then I was like, okay, this is kind of like possible. And I'm seeing like the benefits of being out and about, So then in 2022, right before I knew I was going to quit, I used up all my vacation days. I went on another 2-week tour in America to Pennsylvania and New York. Did like 6 shows. That's when I did Launch Music Festival too in Lancaster. That was my first like festival ever actually.
Really?
Yeah, and then the whole time I'm like making TikToks like, I know my boss doesn't know, but I use up all my vacation days. I'm gonna quit my job, and like that actually really got me like a lot of buzz on TikTok, like locally. Not like I didn't go viral or nothing, but like when I came back, like people were like, I saw you on TikTok and stuff. But also when I came back, my boss called me and he's like, someone sent me a TikTok that like, and I was like, I'm busted. And he's like, that you're gonna quit, and I'm like, yeah, man, I gotta quit. But
like you went on TikTok and announced that you were planning on quitting.
Yeah, because like it was like the perfect hook, like because like imagine you see like this guy like in America, but he's from Canada, and he's like, my boss doesn't know, but like I'm on tour and I'm using my vacation days. Like it's such like a good story,
Yeah,
and it was real. Like it was all real. So it was like it just felt good, and like people were like, this guy's crazy, and then my boss was like, this messed up. But what happened was like. I was working in an IT company in the pandemic, and I quit to join another one that he worked at, and he actually. The company that I worked at, he left years before I did to start this other company that I joined.
And then you joined that.
Yeah,
one.
and so he was like, what I did, like with quitting the company to start my own, is what you're doing, but with music.
Oh,
so he
okay.
fully got it,
got
you know.
It at the end.
And at the end, he was like, "Yo, if you ever need to come back, like hopefully you don't, but like you can come back, get your job." And I was like, "That's sick," you know. So that was the 2 weeks, and then like 2 weeks after that, I came back from that tour, I quit, and yeah, the rest has been history.
So outside of music, it seems like you are very into content creation. You create these short, fun, engaging reels on Instagram. Some are like freestyle. Some you take like popular instrumentals and then you put your own spin on it. And I also noticed you did like one about hip hop's evolvement over the years.
Oh yeah.
And I found that like super creative. So I wanted to know like where does that creativity spark from, and what is that editing process like for you?
I mean, the creativity just sparks from life, I think. Like, I think there's so many ways you could tell one topic or like tell one story that it's just like approaching it in different ways, you know? Like, I think the more you expose yourself to like other types of entertainment and art and stuff, like you'll keep getting ideas, you know? And like I was saying earlier, once I quit my job and like was just kind of fully focused on music, it's like I know what my goal is of like trying to make it and get more of an audience and reach. So it's like my brain is sort of constantly thinking about those things. It's like every time I see a video that does well, I start to think like, how can I use this? Or how could I like flip this, you know? Or if I just think of a funny idea, I'm like, yo, could this be a video, you know? Or like a story. I'm like, it kind of started last year for sure, because that's when like I had more time to start really getting into the content. And then this year is just kind of like accelerated a lot, you know, just like trying different things and then like, oh, this one works well. Okay, let's keep doing that, you know? And sometimes it's just like, it's not even like an idea I want to do. It's just like sometimes the content sort of creates itself, you know? Like early this year, I had a song, Not For Me. And like the music video preview was supposed to drop the same day the song came out. And a week leading up to the song release, the videographer like ghosted me, you know?
Oh no.
And like literally like no replies to text. The week before, I'm like one message a day, you know, a few days before, one message a day. Then like the day before though, and then it's like one message in the morning, no. One message at 12, no. Then it's like every hour, every 30 minutes. Then it got to the point where I'm just like dropping like so many messages just to spam the phone, just
So
like
many questions.
Yeah, and then it was like he like turned his phone off or like blocked it or something. I don't know how it was like I couldn't send any more messages.
Wow.
And so I had like a more like just like a skit type of content that was gonna be like an extra piece for like a week after the song drops. Not like the main thing, you know? But I had to drop that just to drop something.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this isn't like enough for the release because this song is big. Like I know it's gonna be a big song. So I literally spent the day of my release like making this video, and the video was basically that story about how he ghosted me. And what I did was I just like kind of like clickbaity framed it by being like, yo, my videographer died, or he's in jail, or like in the hospital, or he's just ghosting me, you know? Like it was like a little like multiple choice, but it starts like, oh, he died. So everyone's like, what happened, right? And then I dropped that the day the video came out, like at night, like after, and then that video became the best video, like best reel for the song.
Okay.
Like even after I got the music video and I actually posted the music video, like that reel about my videographer dying was the best one because
Your videographer.
yeah, because like people were hooked by that phrase.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, what's this story? You know, like people love drama. People like
That's
negativity.
what's gonna make them click.
Negativity sells more than positivity.
Yeah.
And like every time I would meet someone after that song came out, like they would talk more about like, yo, what happened to your videographer? Like, yo, he like, instead of asking me about the song, you know? And like, I didn't feel no ways about it because I understand like the marketing, you know? Like I realized like we live in this age where it's like, there's so much talent. It's about like, how can you present that talent, you know? Everyone can pick up a phone or camera from their I mean, it's just on your phone, right? Like anyone can record stuff from their bedroom now. So it's like really saturated. It's about like, how can you get past beyond that, you know?
Yeah. So are you editing it also by
yourself?
yourself?
Yeah, so I edit that kind of stuff, like was just like the freestyles and my videographer died, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I edit all myself on CapCut, shout out CapCut. And I post it all, like I schedule it, I do it all myself, yeah.
Wow.
And
so who's doing the camera work? Okay.
if it's like some stuff you see in my room, it's just me.
Wow.
If it's like a still, it's probably just like a tripod. Like in February this year, I went to New York City by myself and I needed to make some content. So I went to Times Square at like 12 at night and like I just put a phone like on like a bush.
Wow.
And just like filmed it myself, you know, because it was like late and like I was like, I just need this right now, you know. So that's just the grind. I'm used to doing it, you know. Like it's giving me more of control over it. So I think that's why like I can think of the things more creatively, you know, because it's like I'm seeing it through from like beginning to end. So I know like what makes like a good intro or like how long it should be or like when people like get bored, you know. You can check all these things in like the analytics too. And so yes, it's been kind of fun like testing out different content, and now like the content's actually what's getting me more opportunities than the music, you know? Like, I'm getting brand deals because of my content, and I'm getting opportunities to do like school speaking engagements and like speaking at events or like moderating events, all because like they see that I'm able to talk and speak, and like I'm actually like a person and not just like an artist. I don't really mind, because like I was saying, my goal with the music was to motivate, inspire, and spread knowledge. And like now I'm realizing like you can do that in so many different ways.
Yep.
Whether you're Much Music or you're McDonald's or you're like user 799, we're all in the same feed. It's like it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. Yeah, they could pay for a sponsored post, but that's not gonna get anyone to click on it. Like it just gives you more eyes, but people still have to engage with your content. It's not like TV. If you can put in the work and energy, like you can succeed, I think.
For sure. And I really like that you talked about the creative direction and how you're responsible and in control of all of that. Like that I can see in the videos I'm watching from you. So, and I also like how you mentioned this thing about clickbait, because that is important. And I feel like you have some type of skill in knowing what people might click on with marketing and stuff. So I just wanted to ask you, did you have like any marketing experience? Like where does that come from of like, you even mentioned the whole multiple choice of, did your videographer die? What happened to him? Like, where does that marketing side come from?
Honestly, a lot of it just came from like trial and error and seeing like what's kind of worked for other people and like trying to just use their strategies. You know, like I think people always say like nothing's new, right? Like everything's kind of been done, especially in music. Like there's only so many chords you can play. Like we're really only dealing with the same notes. It's just like different ways of approaching the same topics. And over the years, it's like really testing different things. And that's like the key is like in those first 5 years, like I was saying earlier, like I wasn't doing that like focus on improvement. I was just sort of trying to go viral. I thought every time, like I kind of figured I was getting better because I was putting in the work, but I wasn't actually focused on like how can I get better on the flow, the cadence, the lyrics, not like really breaking it down. And then once I started doing that, I paid attention. Like I would make a post and maybe I'd put a caption like, yo, comment if you like this. And then the next one I would say like, share if you like this. Then I would compare like, oh, was it better to ask for comments or was it better to ask for shares? Is it better to ask for likes? It's better to ask for nothing.
So you're just trying and seeing what works.
Just trying different things, yeah. And then like over time, you kind of get a grasp for it, you know? So like, but with those, like when it's like, oh, this is the video, like I only have one chance to like kind of put it out. It's like, you got to put your best foot forward, you know? So that one was like a bit of a risk. Like I never did anything that was so clickbaity like that before. So I remember posting that like at 8 p.m. and like just not checking my phone until the next day. Where normally I would check like every couple minutes to like reply to comments and stuff. I was like, nah, I gotta let this one be, because like on one hand I'm kind of dissing this guy who's like holding my video hostage, and on the other hand I'm sort of like doing this clickbait where like I'm not sure how people are gonna respond. Like I had a lot of like faith in it, and that's why I was dropping it first, because I wanted to start the year off like really strong. And so like it was a hectic like 48 hours when I didn't have that video, and I was just like stressing, you know.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So now it's just been like a game of like, to this day, like I'm still doing trial and error. Like I still don't think I figured it out. Like I'm not like trying to make one type of content every time. I'm still experimenting.
So is the goal for you to create a viral video? Is that what you want?
I think with me, like that's kind of always been my goal. But over time, I've noticed that like it's been blessed that I didn't go viral, because the people I've seen go viral and who've kind of like leaned onto that virality, they didn't connect with their like core audience or like really create that like foundation. And so I see a lot of people who might have like 100K followers, 50K followers, but they're not getting the same engagement like as me, you know, with way less followers. So it's like a different like relationship with my audience, and like even if it's smaller, it's like it's more like loyal. It's like the Spittys. Shout out to Spittys.
That's my next question. I was just about to ask you, what is a Spittys? Talk about that.
That's just like, you know, you got like the Arianators or like the Beehive and stuff. During the pandemic, I really started to like build my fan base a lot more, and I was pushing my music online. That's when I got connected to like a big audience in India and like South Asia. That's when my fan base really started to grow. And so I was just like, yo, you know, this Team Spitty, we need like a name, you know?
Yeah, you need a name.
So my thing is like, I love just to engage the audience. Like I don't really like to do things just like, oh, here's my song, here's my merch, like go buy it. I like ask people like while it's being made, like, what do you guys think about this design? What do you guys think about this? Like, what should we name this? So I literally put it up on like Instagram question, like, yo, what's the name we should call the squad, yeah? And I got bare responses, and one guy from Pakistan, like he's been like a loyal fan, and he said that name, and I was like, yo, that's a genius.
Because it's like Citizen.
It's Citizen, because it's sort of like this thing where it's like we're all like the people. Like we're all just like people. Like Citizens just means like we're all like the people, right? Like we're all like one. And so for me, it was like, yo, like Citizens is dope, because it's like I'm not trying to be like the dictator, or like the king or whatever. Like I want to be like for the people, you know? So it's like y'all are Spittizens, but I'm a Spittizen too, you know? So it's just like, we're all just a community.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're all just like the world of Spitty, you know? So the Spittizens is like, if you're a fan of Spitty, you're a Spittizen, you know?
You should come up with, you know how there's a Monopoly game? Like the World of Spitty game.
Yeah,
and everyone
that'd be fire.
collects coins.
That'd be
and
fire, yeah.
Spittisons.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you create it, you know, give me some
Spittizens of
credit there.
Catan, yeah, I like that.
I wanted to know, so knowing what you know now and being able to witness your music career begin to flourish, what advice would you give yourself 11 years ago when you stopped making music? What would you tell younger Spitty?
I think the main thing is I wish I got more feedback on my music early on and like put in the efforts to practice and grow before just trying to put out YouTube videos and put out everything like a full blast. You know, like the first song I ever made, I put it up on YouTube with the music video and everything. Like I never even considered like I should make songs and practice and not release everything I made. In my head it was like if I made it, I need to show people. Like it was like a bit of an ego thing, and I didn't even realize like I wasn't good because I wasn't sharing with people. And I was like a lot more anxious and shy back in high school. Like I was literally like the palms are sweaty kid, like when I would do class presentations and stuff. So
my palms are sweaty,
knees weak, arms are heavy. Yeah, that's why I like Eminem. And it took a lot to grow out of that. So that was a big reason why I think I didn't share with people. Like it felt easier to just be at home and click upload on YouTube than to be with someone in the car or like at school and be like, yo, like listen to this and sit in front of him and like be like, what do you think of it? You know?
True. Okay.
Because like I could kind of hide behind the screen type thing.
Yeah.
And then when I would go to school, it's like, all right, the song's out. Like, yeah, you can say whatever. It's kind of hard to even tell myself that, like, yo, yeah, go show people because I know how I was in high school. But I think that's the key is like, yo, slow down. Like, instead of trying to do a track a week, like do one a month and like show people and get like that feedback before you put it out. And then hopefully it can go from there. But I think everyone's journey is like, it's part of the journey. You know, I had to go through those L's to really get to this point. It's like, I can't even say like, if I didn't do that, would I have gotten here.
And sometimes we think like life is just this clear, straight path, and it could be like here, zigzag there.
Usually it's like that, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so anything you want to share or last thoughts with the viewers at home?
What do I got going on? I'm gonna be in India for 2 months, like all of December and most of January. So anyone who's in India, you know, hit me up. You can reach out to me. I'm trying to go to different cities, so maybe we can connect. Artists or just fans of music or whatever, content creators. Once I'm back though, I'm trying to set up a show for like the spring here. Trying to do like my biggest show yet. The last couple times I've done like a headline Spitty show. Like the first time was when my Full Circle album dropped. We had about like 75 people. Then the next year, it was my birthday. We had about like 125 people. So this year, you know, the goal would be like 200, 250, just kind of keep leveling up, you know, headline show. So that's something I want to do. And then just a lot of music coming out. So I got a grant from Canada Arts Council for a South Asian collaborative album.
Wow.
So like, yeah, literally came a long way. You know, like 10 years ago, wasn't even thinking about repping for the brown people. Now I'm making a whole album about it. So
and that's Full Circle.
That's Full Circle right there. Yeah, that's why I love that title too, because it's such a common phrase that it comes up a lot. And it's mainly gonna be rap because that's what I do.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be different genres, different languages, and different rappers and singers, producers from all over the world. Actually, we got.
So is it a joint?
It's like the best way to explain it is it's like, you know, when Kendrick Lamar did the Black Panther soundtrack. Yeah. It's like that.
And
okay. I'll be on each song with a little bit here and there, but we have a lot of features like people from Vancouver, New Jersey, India, you know, like UK, so like all over the world, and of course Brampton, Toronto, Mississauga, and Marie's on there. She's produced some stuff. Yeah. So we got a lot of different diversity on there, and once I'm in India, I'm gonna be shooting a lot of content for it. So the visuals hopefully will look really sick. Yeah. And expect that sometime in the spring. Singles will be coming out starting January, I think.
Okay, congrats. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say, list your socials and let people know where they can go to tap in with you on social media.
Y'all can tap in with me at Spitty95, SPITTY95. That's on everything: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And then on streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, all that, it's just Spitty, SPITTY. You'll find me with a picture of the bucket hat. You'll know it's me. And that's about it, yo. Shout out Keekz for the interview. It's been a blessed time. Appreciate all the questions and the research, too.
Thank you for tuning in. My name is JustKeekz. And you can keep up with the show at Talking Hip Hop Show. That's talking without the G, Hip Hop Show. I'm your host, JustKeekz, and until next time, keep talking hip hop. Peace.